My wife, 26 female, and I, 29 male, pretty much have not had sex since COVID started. Mostly because 2 months into it, I lost my job as an office manager at a small business. There are no other jobs hiring as much as hospital jobs, so I made the decision to become a janitor at a hospital. The steep drop in income, as well as that I'd be working in the front lines, made my wife tell me she can't bear to touch me at all. I ended up making the decision that because my dad had an empty room above a detached garage, that for the time being I'd go to work and then go home to my dad's garage with its separate entrance, so I wasn't putting anyone at risk. I thought things were going okay. My wife and I had a 3-year-old daughter together, and I'd FaceTime her whenever I could. But my wife started getting distant and asking if I could pick up another job because our finances were still so tight. She was disappointed when I said I didn't think I could find any. And the people at the hospital were telling us that overworking ourselves would really doom us if the virus happened to be incubating inside of us. I would call my wife and she started just not answering my calls until later. I was the most alone I'd ever been, but I thought that at least my wife seemed to be okay since she was posting about having Zoom wine and cheese night or virtual board game night with her friends pretty much every night on her story. Slowly though, my FaceTime calls would be reduced to a few quick words with my wife before she put the phone on my daughter. I came home around fall of 2020. However, my wife said she'd rather I sleep in the guest bedroom and keep most of my activities restricted to that area. So basically from that point all the way to March, I would spend most of my time at home in my separate room and only my daughter would sometimes come in. I started suspecting something suspicious when my wife would just leave the house for long periods of time. Also, I saw discarded price tags of expensive clothes and other stuff that I knew we wouldn't be affording on my salary. She leaves her iPad open one day and I see a trail of money transfers via Zelle from the same person. She finally admits to the affair, but phrases it as she was in total survival mode and sarcastically said that I had hopped off into the sunset like you were going off to war, and I was supposed to wait at the windowsill for you. After our blowout argument, I go to my dad's house to blow off steam. When I get back home, my daughter was up already, but my wife was sleeping. She was clearly upset and could sense we were fighting. We went to counseling and my wife told me some legitimate issues she was having, namely the panic attacks at the thought of getting coronavirus and being a single mom to our daughter. 2 weeks go by since our last session, and my wife starts feeling sick. During therapy, we had promised each other an open phone policy if either of us felt uncomfortable, because she also said that she cheated because she was thinking I could have easily also had an affair. I felt she was being sneaky again, so I asked if I could see her phone. She then said that she needed to talk to me. She broke the news that she took 2 pregnancy tests and went to the doctor when I was at work with the father, and the texts reflect that. It's a foregone conclusion that the baby isn't mine. I didn't want to come face to face with the other man, but my wife said that he wants to be a part of his kid's life. My wife and I are both white, and the other man is African American. And the other man says that he's the only one who can impart on the kid the other half of his or her identity. After I told my family, they all said that eventually my daughter was going to ask questions, and there was no way to brush this one under the rug. They are blowing up about the fact that I was going to have a physical representation of my wife's infidelity around me and begged me to leave her. But my wife had said previously that if I tried to leave her, I would just end up breaking my daughter's heart. And in the past few days, I've been bombarded by assumptions that I will be racist towards the child, especially from the birth father. This has not done anything to my view that every person is equal, and it burns me that people think just because this awful thing of infidelity I experienced involved a black man, and will soon involve a biracial baby, that I'm racist. I will never be anything but affectionate to the kid. I will honor the child as my daughter's sibling. But I don't think I can stand my wife anymore. I don't think I can stand being around her, because every moment it's always anger and stress for me. Like how this baby she wants to have is coming, but I don't see how I could be in the delivery room when the father wants to be there. I don't know what to tell my daughter, who knows that I'm very upset right now. I can barely afford to make rent for our family, yet she was out spending some other guy's money on her own comfort items. Do I stay and allow the father start paying for expenses related to the baby? Do I have to let him visit the house now or talk to him? I don't think I can do either. My wife said that the affair ended, but now their relationship will never end. But my daughter is very astute and will be seeing how I handle this. And part of me still remembers the things that made me fall in love with my wife. But I hate to say that I would have forgiven her if she wasn't pregnant. I'm sorry, I don't hate the kid or anything, but this just made everything so much more complicated. I am at a loss of how I would leave. I, female 29, caught my wife, female 27, at the home of the man she had an affair with. My wife and I have been together for over 9 years. We were long distance for 7, and have now been married for over 2 years. We are both bisexual. 4 months ago, I caught her having an affair with one of her coworkers. I literally rode my bike 45 minutes at 11 p.m. at night on July 3rd. Because we have only one vehicle, and she had been gone a while. Wasn't answering her phone, only to then catch her making out in his car in the parking lot of their job. For 4 months, we have been trying to repair our relationship. Scratch that. I alone have been putting in massive amounts of effort to reconnect, engage, and improve our marriage. Already I know this sounds bad, but I know it in my heart that she loves me. My wife has some mental health concerns that honestly I should have pushed harder to have her see a doctor. Without being a doctor or have any clinical knowledge, I believe my wife has bipolar-esque tendencies. I just thought it would take time, but that we would eventually be okay. We always are. 9 years has seen a lot of major ups and downs. We have always pushed forward and overcome. Why can't we seem to now? A few nights ago, she was feeling uncertain about our relationship again. She expressed this, though really didn't want to delve deeper or have a discussion. Instead, she got drunk and we argued. I threatened to leave and she didn't stop me. I slept at the neighbor's house and she stayed home. However, when I woke up at 7 a.m., she was gone, with the only car we have. Fast forward to the next night. I asked her where she was going to be staying. It had become clear that she needed some space to get her thoughts and feelings sorted out. She said she would stay at a friend's. It was a lie. That night, my mom stayed with me at the house so I wouldn't be alone with my own turmoil. We decided to drive by her friend's place, because something in my gut said she wasn't being truthful. We also Googled the man she had cheated on me with and found his address, just in case. We drove to his address first. It was closer. I knew the entire drive there that we would find her, and I am so devastated that I was right. She stayed at his place that night and last night. What I don't understand is how being with him is helping her to think clearly. She still told me she hadn't decided on what she wanted to be married to me or not. I decided the route of divorce because obviously I shouldn't be treated like this. But if she's so undecided, as confused as she claims, why seek out the influence of this guy? I'm sure I know the answer. I want to be wrong. I told her this morning that I wanted to repair things and she said she isn't in the right headspace to decide that, but obviously, as long as she is staying in his house, the more she's not even allowing herself to listen to what she truly wants. Right? Am I making sense? Before you tell me I'm an idiot, trust me, I know.